With such an array of health fads available, it's a relief to know that the ideal tools for healing and health have always been available at home. Hi, I am Christine Lynn Stormer-Fra, also known as Chris Stormer, the Universal Foot Lady. Many years ago, I channeled through at home with mind, body, and soul. And although I have shared this amazing information through presentations worldwide, only now have I made time to do these videos. The advantage of being considered off the wall is that I am known to entertain bizarre notions acquired from universal insights and shared by using my hand-drawn charts from my presentations, along with cartoon diagrams inspired by Google to reveal some handy and incredible DIY tools available. No one day passes without emotions getting involved. When excessively overwhelming, the functioning of mind and body are affected big time, making the atmosphere at home extremely uncomfortable. Feelings today are residual energy from yesterday, with energies from people and situations having a lingering impact. Not wanting to go there only makes matters worse, with the intensity of the emotions dwelling deeper in the body, the one and only lifelong home from conception until the spirit moves on. Spacious green is the most emotive of all the colors, symbolizing birth and growth. The unifier of opposites, green energizes blue's calmness, while soothing yellow's intensity. It is a very versatile color for interiors and an easy way to bring the outdoors in, giving the room a natural vibe. Considered a neutral color, it serves as a reminder to let go and just be. A world without color would come to a standstill. Evoked by colorful emotions, everything is brought to life. It seeps out with every breath, particularly when emotions are kept close to the chest, jogging the memory and stirring forgotten feelings. Once out in the open, heavy emotions thicken the air, so much so the atmosphere could be cut with a knife. Picking up feelings, the second toes are naturally analytical and highly intuitive, with their more feminine qualities connected to the goodness and goddess within. These toes rely on loving relationships with the self and with others, with friendship and companionship being of the utmost importance. The longer second toe, known as Morton's toe or Greek foot, is often seen on statues of Greek goddesses and are indicative of a leader by example. The index finger, the Peter Pointer finger, is connected to leadership, possibilities, drive, and a sense of self-confidence that points the way, although it is often used to criticize and point out deficiencies in others when lacking self-confidence. Rings on this digit are most commonly worn by men holding authority and wishing to flaunt their higher held positions, while arthritis in this or any other digit is from being art-righteous. Eyes, the windows to the soul, are windows of opportunity, inviting light into the body, just as open windows provide light and fresh air in the home. Visual and immune issues are helped enormously when seeing the bigger picture and letting go of set opinions. Making sure all windows open and close with ease, broken window panes are fixed and kept clean of filth and grime, opens the mind to a brighter outlook on life. Whatever enters the body via the eyes goes straight to the heart, making it virtually impossible to see things in a positive light when feeling bad, angry, or resentful. The glare from computers is not responsible for eye strain. It's the struggling emotions evoked while processing visual images, as well as pressures of modern-day living. Being forced and conditioned into seeing things from other people's points of view, accentuated by the uncertainty, chaos, and negativity shared by the media, blows things way out of proportion in the mind's eye. Bags under the eyes appear when up to the eyes and overwhelmed at seeing so much stuff going on, or realizing how much more there is to come. Representing the eyelids, curtains effectively block or obscure light, air drafts, or in the case of shower curtains, water. Net curtains compromise the amount of light entering the room, and being made of synthetic material, are often responsible for an artificial outlook on life. As ornate as drapes may be, the more the window is covered, the less is seen. Light is limited and eyes suffer. Likewise, a fringe of hair covers an eye when terrified to see something too emotional to face. Blind with rage, turning a blind eye, concealing the truth makes it extremely difficult to see clearly, as do sunglasses, also called shades or sunnies. Far from being protective, these devices are decidedly detrimental to personal well-being, limiting the entry of much-needed ultraviolet rays into the body, causing the pineal or pineal gland and inspiration to suffer, while inhibiting intuition. In the darker areas of the home, skylights, sometimes called roof lights, are perfect for letting in more light and are representative of the pineal gland or pineal gland. Constant exposure of violence, hatred, and suffering through films, television, reading material, and so on, are deliberately spreading fear with the intent of lowering immunity and increasing vulnerability in the collective consciousness. Artificial lights also play games with the mind, often with the lights being on but nobody at home. Fortunately, light bulb moments save the day. With consciousness rising, light bulbs may blow and electronics may be disturbed by exceptionally high vibrational rates. With illumination, dark memories kick in, making it tempting to hide one's light under the bushel. But in a good light, the beauty of life becomes more visible and emotions increasingly manageable. The primary source of illumination in households for hundreds of years was beeswax. Then, with the pandemic lockdown, came a dramatic increase in the sale of candles, particularly the scented ones, as well as diffusers and room sprays. Today, to get on, many burn the candle at both ends, busy from early morning until late at night, or doing two opposite things at once, which is great when the heart and soul are content with the situation. Emotional scenes have a great and lasting impact on the eyes. Hectic, unsettling scenes witnessed as a child often hold the sights back, known as short or nearsightedness, or constantly looking ahead to avoid seeing what is going on results in long or far-sightedness. With eyes focusing on whatever the mind is focused on, focusing on the present effectively aligns sight, as does looking at the bright side of life. As a living entity, the home loves to breathe. Hefty emotions suffocate the air, picked up by whatever is flying through the air, affecting the body's airways while profoundly influencing the energy filling the passageways, particularly between the front entrance and the main bedroom. Constant objections, criticisms, and judgments pollute the atmosphere, irritating the nose and lungs, while all the huffing and puffing become highly annoying. Being overwhelmed and emotionally stifled makes it hard to breathe, as with asthma, drawing attention to the Mars devastation as the MAR, asthma. Hanging on to unresolved emotional issues takes up precious space, preventing the intake of new life force energies, leaving the mind, body, and soul desperate for some fresh input. One of the answers lies with indoor plants, placed artistically throughout the home, bringing the home to life by ridding the atmosphere of toxic thoughts and emotional pollutants, while also effectively cleaning the air, adding oxygen and balancing humidity levels that have been adversely affected by humiliation and arrogance. Clearing air ducts and furnace filters regularly also helps enormously. The master or main bedroom requires good energy. Symbolic of the lungs and related to the Father, it is the inner sanctuary, a place of salvation, a place of trust and temptation. Limiting distractions makes room to breathe, while filling it with things that are loved, including the partner, makes the space a safe haven. If the partner snores and snorts to release hefty emotions, consider separate bedrooms. Messy bedrooms are a sure sign of emotional turmoil, making it hard to breathe, as with respiratory issues. Clutter near the bed may signify a desire to escape a load of weighty emotions. Clutter under the bed may imply a fear of intimate relationships, making it difficult to sleep. Removing all pictures other than those of oneself and the lover prevents family and other feelings from interfering and invading personal space. Reorganizing the bedroom can create a welcome change and an opportunity to be authentic. Chest issues generate from the master bedroom, with lungs being the personal breathing space and a vital link between the inner and outer worlds. The relationship with Dad, the father figure, has a huge influence on the state of the lungs. In a child's mind, Dad's approval is paramount. Without it, it's hard to feel good about oneself, yet one small word of sincere praise from him inflates the whole body, and it feels like walking on air. From time to time, the feeling of not mattering and feeling insignificant in the world is increasingly common. But everybody matters and has something valuable to offer. Just being here affects countless people in limitless ways. Being a microcosm of the larger universe affects the whole of life more than can be imagined. In times gone by, the left side of the body, or anything to the left, was considered so sinister that innkeepers pushed the left side of beds against the wall, yet the left resonates to the present future. Debating which side of the bed to sleep on, when lying in bed facing the ceiling, the male energy should be in his rightful place, on the female's right, since this resonates to masculinity. Should the female sleep here, she is likely to become the man of the house, taking on many of his roles and responsibilities. Some women love this, but if it's a bugbear, then try swapping sides. A bed has its own energy. In Shakespeare's time, beds were on bed frames, secured by ropes, pulled to tighten the mattress and make the bed firmer. Hence the phrase, "Good night, sleep tight." Canopy beds with big posts and a sheet hung over the top offered protection from bugs and other droppings from the thatched roof. Today, some Africans put their beds on bricks so that the tokolosh, tiny evil ancestral spirits, cannot reach them to cast a curse while they sleep. Avoid putting shoes caked in negative emotion under the bed. Beds are gateways to sleep and dreams, and in fairy tales, portals to other worlds. A retreat from the world and a place of comfort and safety. As soon as it is vacated, opening the bedding and let it breathe is essential, particularly when going through turbulent emotions and finding it difficult to sleep. Giving the bed a complete airing and changing the bedding at least once a week assists in dispensing with worked through feelings. When making up the bed, place the outer pillowcase openings away from the door. But when side by side, the openings should be facing one another to ensure being on the same page for open, intimate conversations, especially if the partners constantly argue. The action of wrapping somebody in a blanket is a statement of kindness and a demonstration of honor. According to various cultures, blankets frequently symbolize life transitions, while the blanket term includes to stifle and keep a scandal quiet. Being born on the wrong side of the blanket and being illegitimate, a wet blanket extinguishing conversation, a blanket clause applicable to everything, as well as a blanket of energy surrounding the home. Since family issues span 7 generations or more, there could be a skeleton or two lurking in the closet. Messy, disorganized, and untidy cupboards and drawers are not exactly a sight to behold, while a reluctance to clear and tidy them indicates an unwillingness to explore buried emotions. Many feelings are kept in the closet, while second-hand clothing is still interweaved with the previous owner's emotions. Flung disrespectfully on the floor in a crumpled mess is very different from being neatly folded and placed on a hanger. Putting empty hangers to the side for later use eliminates the possibility of unfulfilled emotions hanging around and taking space. It's absolutely fascinating how some ladies can hang something in their closet for a while and it shrinks 2 sizes. Clothing plays an important role in human society. Humans can survive a few days without eating, but not without clothing. Having nothing to wear, despite a wardrobe packed with clothes, occurs when in an emotional dilemma, confusion, or feeling flustered. Clothing absorbs emotions, so washing items after wearing them is a must for a fresh start. Outfits play a significant role in changing the mood and shifting the energy when entering a room. When it comes to addressing the issue of what to wear, it all depends on what the person feels like. Allergies or bad reactions to the weave of fabrics are recollections such as not cottoning on when there's only a thread of truth, being tied up in something undesirable, or wool being pulled over the eyes, investing in nasty emotional scenes, not coping with synthetic behavior, having to handle others with silk gloves, and finally, linen, from sacrifices made within the family. As for the state of the garment, it falls apart at the seams when feeling out of sorts, or zipping the mouth is not an option, while knickers get in a twist over trivial matters. Once the issue is addressed, a stitch in time saves 9. Mending clothes and being on the mend go hand in hand. A lot of emotional baggage created by prejudice, belief systems, and conditioning are carried around, hindering the journey of self-discovery. So airlines are doing everybody a favor by restricting the amount of baggage. Emotions are carried around in cases and handbags just in case of being needed. The contents of a handbag can be a real eye-opener, with many forgotten treasures lurking in the folds, such as money and pieces of jewelry. Also indicative of self-worth is the care of currency. Being scrunched and shoved away is very different from making sure that all the notes are in numerical order, with the front of the notes facing forward. Loads of receipts from goodness knows when need removing and filing just in case. Compassionate souls carry tissues just in case somebody needs assistance in dealing with overwhelming emotions or a sticky and messy situation. Makeup and brushes are often stowed away just in case of having to put on a good front. The only things required in a handbag are those that give credit, a means of communication, and anything that provides access to the home and car. Makeup traditionally reflects self-expression, with each subculture and religion having its own norms and taboos. Allergies to cosmetics are a bad reaction to the falseness of hiding behind the mask. Foundation from family cover-ups, eyeliner from intimidating raised eyebrows and disapproval, eyeshadow from peeking out from the shadows, mascara and false eyelashes from highlighting pretended emotions, lipstick from giving lip service or wishing to give lip. Maybe it's time to kiss and make up. Symbolizing status, jewelry is worn to supplement or highlight self-worth, although necklaces may also be drawing attention to the yoke around the neck. Bracelets reveal how full the hands are or possibly feeling tied. Anklets reveal a feeling of being shackled. Brooches, wishing to broach a subject, and so on. Sentimental items, representing something or somebody special, are frequently lost or stolen when being emotionally hung on to for too long or not being fully appreciated. Watches have evolved incredibly over the years. a symbol of wealth, a fashion statement, or simply a reminder of things still needing to be accomplished, watches and clocks have become an integral part of many lives. A constant reminder of an attachment to time, whether consciously or subconsciously. Watches influence life decisions as simple as sleeping and waking. On a certain level, having a watch represents maturity and independence, the ability to manage time and be more responsible and accountable for personal actions. Often gifted to people at certain milestones in life, watches also serve as a reminder of how fast time flies. Full of mixed emotions, breasts are epicenters of affection, nurturing and nourishing, embodying both femininity and mothering. Men also have breasts, but these cannot grow without the female hormone. The size of these amazing milk-producing glands is influenced by the amount of loving energy passing through. The right breast is filled with a mountain of memories dating back many generations, while the left breast responds to the amount of love required in the present, both in giving and receiving. Revealing the relationship with mothering, breasts go by many names such as boobs, knockers, headlights, even personalities, although the word breast originates from the hills of Manchester City. Bra-like garments go way back to ancient Greece, with early designs of the bra, short for the French word brassiere, for bodice or child's vest, being bulky, elaborate contraptions known as boulder holders. Today, sophisticated, high-tech, high-stretch bras are extremely technical garments in a vast selection of sizes to accommodate a wide range of cups. Some ladies react badly to wearing bras, drawing attention to maternal or mothering memories and beliefs that have been tolerated for far too long or have become completely intolerable. Although every allergy has its own emotional tag and unique history. When these are understood, it is so much easier to deal with the hypersensitivity of the situation. The word milk, derived from breast, provides sustenance and associated with eternal unselfishness, generosity, and abundant goodness. If any of these are missing, an intolerance of milk is likely, arising from a challenging relationship with mother or grandmother or even great-grandmother, and responding badly to the emotions kept close to their chests. Realizing how pointless it is to cry over spilt milk, the breasts become remorseful and unhappy over anything that cannot be undone. Meanwhile, allergies to dairy products point to the products of mothering, in other words, a sibling, often having to put up with ridiculous, cheesy remarks when butter would not melt in their mouths. The children and guest bedrooms mirror the breasts, frequently displaying the impact and enormity of motherhood and possible resentment of having to care for others, whether offspring, family, spouse, job, or the world at large, either deflating or weighing the breasts down into adulthood later in life. Being an overly responsible carer enlarges the breasts to mammoth proportions to draw attention to the fact, while also reaching out for much-needed affection and sustenance. Denying oneself love, as with anorexia, shrinks the bosoms like shrinking violets until they virtually disappear. Also out of sight are things dumped in the spare room, which the breasts take on. It's not uncommon for children to hate greens, although it's not the greens that they can't stomach, but mother's distressed emotions kept close to her chest. Otherwise, a parent vegging out and being a good-for-nothing can be very distasteful. The thymus gland revels in authenticity. As the seat of the soul, it relies on a good self-image as well as complete self-acceptance. When threatened, gorillas and warriors beat their chest, roaring and screaming at the same time to boost immunity in case of injury. If at soul level thou must, then go for it, especially if it improves stature, personal well-being, self-esteem, and self-worth. As the master gland of the immune system, the thymus gland loves the spirit to be free and its magnificence honored. Autoimmune disease is rapidly gaining a foothold, with confused feelings and an underlying hatred of the self, battering self-esteem to an all-time low, yet being overly critical of others due to excessive guilt, shame, or blame, until the T cells end up attacking their own body, as in lupus. Being authentic is beautiful when being oneself to the full. To compensate for fear, emotional defense mechanisms are built and rigid belief systems initiated as a form of protection. Quick to blame others for fear of the consequences is a convenient survival technique learned from parents and society since birth. It is so much easier and less traumatic to place blame elsewhere, but ultimately only complicates matters, putting any chance of dealing with the issue beyond reach. It really is lame to blame. If the emotional body is ignored, unresolved issues become locked and stored within, along with the pain. In times of self-pity, when told to let go, pull yourself together, or just get over it, it is difficult when having no idea of what to let go of, let alone how to do it. Putting a finger on the memory of being in the wrong often helps in working out how to feel better. Yet even Shakespeare recognized that nothing is right and nothing is wrong, only thinking maketh it so. Tobacco smoke is a visible reminder of emotive issues suspended in mid-air, with smoking providing the ideal smokescreen for highly sensitive souls wishing to desensitize themselves and hide behind deceptive clouds of puff. Whether creating an illusion or keeping others at bay, the pseudo-front of confidence conceals personal inadequacies. Smoke signals intentionally throw others off track so that the truth is never discovered. Fear of giving up smoking and piling on weight is another form of self-defense, and a reluctance of facing deep emotions out in the open. Smoke, or the smell of stale butts getting up the nose, serves as a reminder of emotions going up in smoke, knowing there is no smoke without fire, being smoked out of a hiding place, or possibly unpleasant recollections of smoke jackets. Smoking does not cause lung cancer, but draws attention to congested and unresolved paternal issues going back several generations building up inside, with coughing being a desperate attempt to let go. Constantly moving furniture indicates going out of the way to please others, or reevaluating feelings within relationships. Old or worn-out furniture points to former relationships, dilapidated beliefs, old-fashioned attitudes, or old ways of thinking. When it comes to furnishing a home, furniture reflects the inner landscape, representing feelings about personal relationships and how others fit in. Second-hand furniture, or hand-me-downs, contain the previous owner's energy, while antiques are full of the same old energy, often with many a family secret tucked out of sight. Too much furniture blocks energy, leaving little or no room for something new, with the subsequent anxiety wearing the body out, as does heavy, clumsy furniture, indicating a heavy-going, non-budging attitude. Meanwhile, weird, crooked, artsy furniture displays great imagination with innovative concepts. Books furnish the mind with the potential to touch the soul deeply, as patterns of thought lying dormant are aroused. Reading requires an investment of emotion, as well as concentration and imagination, with words being the starting point for a process that takes place within the mind and heart. Transcending reality is only one aspect of this experience, as entire landscapes are created in the mind's eye. Life is like a book. Closing a chapter is an opportunity to leave the past and turn a new page in life. The energy of books in the bookcase and lying around have an invisible and surprising impact on emotions. Many a slip twixt the cup and the lip is the uncertainty of success, since things change at the last moment. Cups, symbolizing the emotional level of consciousness, are associated with loving feelings, relationships and connections, as well as creativity, romance, fantasy, and imagination. Cups overflowing with emotion can be devastating or delightful, although thinking with the heart rather than the head makes responses spontaneous. A hot cup of tea, known as a cuppa in the UK, assists in seeking solutions to emotional dilemmas, with the tea leaves displaying the importance of emptying the cup and cleaning it of any residue from the past before accepting new flavors. Interestingly, tea bags are a fabulous source of nutrition for the soul and the plants, and bra cups are always there to support. Talking of support, the upper back, symbolized by the backs of chairs, provides emotional backing and support, while behind the scenes, the spine represents the unconscious mind and houses the will, where the past resides. A lot of negative and powerful emotions such as anger and fear are brutally dumped and stored there, well out of sight, in the hope of not having to be dealt with again. However, chair backs energetically take all this on, as do chair arms, since the upper back houses the main muscles functioning the upper limbs. Arms, quick on the uptake, often take on unresolved heart issues, revealed through inflexibility in the elbows and knees. Unresolved ancestral issues also have a role to play, not to blame, but to understand. Torn apart by war, imprisonment, concentration camps, loss of loved ones, and the challenge of survival, a huge strain was placed on the heart, so much so that the universal subconscious carries patterns of belief that love hurts or is too painful to feel, numbing many hearts with a reluctance to open to love. Tightness in the chest and throat squeeze the joy out of life, particularly when status, money, success, or others' needs override the basic needs to feel love. A lack of self-worth from feeling unworthy or being trapped in heartless relationships makes it hard to relinquish the victim role. No reason, though, to lounge around doing nothing and become a couch potato, a term that came into being in 1976 during a telephone conversation between members of a Southern Californian group, humorously opposed to the fads of exercise and healthy diets in favor of vegetating before a telly, known as a boob tube, and eating junk food, calling themselves boob tubers, but then potatoes became a substitute for tubers. As the body's transformer, the heart refines emotions, which is why at the heart of all health issues are issues of the heart. The heart becomes troubled and traumatized when love and joy are sacrificed for materialistic values and insincerity, with distress hardening it against further pain. Frustration and anger overheat the heart, with ferocious emotions rapidly spreading to the small intestines and playing havoc within relationships, while the inner conflict and depressing turmoil shock and trouble the elbows and knees. Terrifying energy channeled through the eyes, particularly via television and movies, as well as alarming sounds via the ears, overwhelm the petrified heart, so much so that it frantically pounds with fear and anxiety. Taking a page from the heart's book, continually assessing body and home requirements makes it so much easier to let go of whatever is no longer of value. A highly intelligent muscle, the heart goes way beyond the physical. A living, breathing, spiritual, and emotionally intelligent organ, it bursts with love or breaks to the loss of love. As the seat of passion and the bridge between spirituality and the physical world, the heart engenders an enormous amount of energy and enthusiasm, giving blood the impetus and determination to generously distribute much-needed life forces throughout the body, raising the vibration at home. The heart resides at the core of being and the family home, a safe haven to experience a wide range of emotions from excessive anger to extreme unhappiness. The universe can help mend a broken heart, but it needs all the pieces to do so. But to have a heart, the body and home need a heart. Whatever lives in the heart resides in the mind, with the living area or lounge resonating to the heart's desires. When light and bright, with much loved, well-spaced furniture and seating in a circle or square to facilitate circulation, the lounge invites light-heartedness. A mirror above the fireplace or elsewhere reflects the space's true nature, while warm colors such as pinks and reds are also good for the heart. It is the heart, not the brain, that cares for the body. With the mind as its assistant, it dominates the sense of taste and ability to speak. Helping to cushion any heartfelt blows, cushions reduce the shock, like the many shock absorbers in the body, such as the vertebral discs. Coming from the Latin word for hip, chairs were of noble importance, with lesser mortals having to sit on a range of variable cushions designated by rank. Today is often about cushioning the odds against future inflation. Ultimately, stretching the legs in the garden among the greenery and breathing in the fresh air is an absolute joy. The similarities of caring for vegetables in a greenhouse and caring of emotions in the chest is uncanny. Both require the ideal climatic conditions, with ventilation being one of the most important components. Grass allergies are likely when personal space is being invaded and a possible fear of grass growing under the feet, along with a tinge of envy. In ancient times, herbalism was a mixture of medicine and magic. Popular in permaculture circles are herb spirals, creating a diverse growing environment for culinary and medicinal herbs at various elevations. Then there is the regular removal of dead branches and leaves throughout the garden, akin to the elimination of dead emotions. Reacting badly to a bee sting is as painful as being zapped for being authentic and being oneself when others just don't get it. Industrious, social insects, bees have strict organizational structures with clear roles, drawing on energy of pollen from plants to create life-giving nectar. Bees are absolutely essential to the survival of humans and many other species. Representing birth and spiritual growth, bees produce honey, the food of the soul, with an eternal lifespan. Its ability to live both on the earth and in the air reveals a vital connection between the physical and spiritual realms. When all is said and done, chickens come home to roost, with past consequences continuing to traumatize the soul until resolved. Birds, a link between heaven and earth, are symbolic of transcendence, hope, and eternal life. Due to their proximity to the heavens, birds are believed to be messengers of the gods, with various species bringing omens or forecasts of future events. A caged bird represents being stuck or emotionally trapped between two worlds, often in a hateful situation, and subconsciously desperate for a way out. Yet a caged bird is also a symbol of hope. Despite its circumstances, it retains the hope of one day being free. These beloved winged creatures symbolize the human soul, with their flight being a powerful metaphor for the range of oscillating human emotions and moods as the soul journeys in its pursuit of higher knowledge. Birds of ascended souls visit to reassure, with feathers found in unusual places being a beautiful message from the angels. Finally, have a heart that never hardens, a temper that never tires, and a touch that never hurts. If you'd like to explore this more, please go to my website www.alwaysbewithoutthee.com, where you will find information on the 9 books that I have already written on the subject of reflexology, channeling, and the language of the feet, as well as the emotional and spiritual aspects. Remember, healing and health are only 2 feet away.